Hi, I'm Colin from Performance Parts. We're here at the Coventry HQ of FS-3 Kawasaki, and we're going to take a look behind the scenes at a BSB team. Let's go. So I'm here with Darren Fry. Darren's co-founder of Team FS-3 Kawasaki, the official BSB superbike team. And we're here really to find out what happens behind the scenes and what it takes to actually run the BSB team. So Darren is the F in FS3. Nigel Snooks is the S. What does the 3 mean?
So we both used to race with number 3.
Oh, right.
And so we were trying to keep it short and sweet because between us we came up with a multitude of stupid names. And then it was like, we got the whole VR 46 thing in our heads, and I was like, right, let's keep it FS3. And then Nigel got all philosophical about the third party and so forth, being the rider. So we just went with FS3. That'll do.
Okay. And that was 2015?
Yeah, so 2015 feels like yesterday, but also feels like 10 years ago.
And that was a ground-up team, formed out of nothing.
Stupidity. Formed out of stupidity. So the story goes very quickly, something along the lines of, so I was doing the Ducati Cup with JHP Ducati, and Nigel was my sponsor, or the team sponsor, I should quite rightly say. And anyway, myself and Nigel formed quite a friendship where we were chatting away and got to Silverstone, just finished on the podium, and I walked down from the podium and I said to Nigel, I'm done, right. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. So what do you mean? I'm done, I'm finished with it. So then he says, don't be silly. So anyway, raced at Brands Hatch, he said, you definitely done? Yeah, definitely done. He said, well, we better start that little team that we're on about then. So it snowballed from where we were going to run a couple of super stock bikes or even a super stock bike. And because I was doing the Ducatis, we spoke to Ducati, who were really keen for us to do it because we wanted to do it really professionally. I had a plan to go to Superbike, say 3 or 4 or 5 years down the line. And Dave Parks, we got chatting with Dave, and he said, well, if you're going to do all that, boys, you might as well just go and buy some Superbikes. Just so happened to have Paul Bird's number, and he was just going from Kawasaki to Ducati. So it snowballed one night over a coffee in my dad's office to from a bit of a super stock team to suddenly we bought basically 2 or 3 old super bikes, filled a couple of sprinter vans full of stuff from PBM, had a good deal out of Paul, who was really helpful all the way through, to be fair, and obviously because we were gracing his hand with cash.
Yes.
And then Dave went and fetched it all, promptly had a heart attack. On delivering it there and then that day, so that was a good start to the team. And then we put them upstairs in an old damp part of the building and tried to make a makeshift workshop. Yeah.
Well, I think it's fair to say that in the paddock you were one of those teams that's loved and respected. The paddock is a friendly place anyway, generally, but I've never heard a bad word against your team, and really that's been proven by coming from almost nowhere, and you're now the official Kawasaki Superbike team. That must be a huge accolade for how the team's operated in 5 short years. It's a great sort of thing to be an official superbike team, isn't it, for a manufacturer like Kawasaki?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, part of it is treat others how you'd like to be treated. Yeah. So that's the main thing. Good people, nice people in the team that are not going to ruffle feathers and get people's back up for no reason. Good atmosphere in the team, massively important. Yeah. You get one bad egg in the team, ruins the whole thing. But by the same token, myself and Nigel are both in business. Nigel comes from a very corporate world, I come from a small business world, which blended together works really, really well. And as Nigel's PA for 30 odd years, she's now joined us to run, the administration side of the team. But we do everything. all get in and get stuck in, and that's part of fun.
It must cost a lot of money to run a superbike team. I mean, what, you know, without spilling the exact beans, putting something like a championship contending ZX10 on the grid. I mean, roughly speaking, what does a competitive superbike stand in at? The
bike stands realistically between 85 and 100,000 pounds if you look at all the development costs and so on and so forth. And realistically, you've got to have 2 running bikes.
Yep.
Then a spare bike for each rider, so 4 bikes, plus realistically a T-bike. So you've got 5 bikes. So you've got a £500,000 investment just in physical bikes to build. And people go, oh, why do you need that much kit? Well,
you do.
Trust me, if you we love Billy and Danny to bits, but by God, we've built a couple of bikes per day sometimes. It happens. You know.
And when you look around the workshop here, you know, spare sets of wheels with wets, tyre warmers, all the equipment, spares in general, you know, engines, exhausts. You know, we provide you with the Akrapovic exhaust for your entirety as a team. And whilst we're a technical partner and technical sponsor to some degree, you've mostly bought that equipment, and I know the value of the invoices. So it's not cheap for you guys to be running a race team. So you must love it, but you must also be slightly get money from sponsors, and is it some of your own money? How do you fund a superbike team?
So basically, the situation was right from the start that Nigel has had a very successful business career. I've got a small family business with facilities. Between us, we've got the know-how. Probably, you know, from a financing it and budgeting point of view, Nigel's, you know, got that all in hand between him and Anne. I know my racing. And between us, well, you know, not taking anything away from Nigel. Nigel knows his racing as well, but so between us, we bounce off each other quite well. But you know, Nigel's probably spent the vast majority of his children's
inheritance.
But I mean,
sold a kidney.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of it's, you know, investing in infrastructure which has a intrinsic value. But then to run it year on year, we're still only at the stage where we're probably getting 50% of the running costs in.
Right.
It's not much shy of probably £750,000 to £1 million a year to run.
Really?
Of which, I say, we get somewhere near about 50% of that in if we're lucky. So
you have to love it, but you've also got to have deep pockets if you want to run a race team.
Massively. I mean, but you have to love it to do it in the first place. I'd say. I mean, people say, "Oh, does it make a profit?" Well, my God, no! It's the quickest way to be an ex-millionaire.
Bankruptcy starter kit.
It's horrendous. But the passion that's in it, and you know, and we're really privileged to be, you know, Kawasaki's official chosen team, so on and so forth. You know, I put a lot into it that I can. Nigel puts a lot of it in that he can. You know, he puts the vast majority of the finances together, along with the sponsors. And we're always looking for a title sponsor, but we want a title sponsor.
There's anyone out there?
Yeah. Definitely. But we'd like a title sponsor that fits the ethos of the team as well. You know, there's lots of people that want to throw money at you and want to change the team. That's not what we want. You know, we want and need to keep the team the same.
Keep the heartbeat of the team the same.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's very difficult, and obviously with the pandemic that's gone on, and it's just snowballed and put us in probably a quite difficult position. But we run on actually quite a small budget compared to many of our competitors, and that's not taking anything away from those guys. It's more kudos to the people that work within the team. That you achieve the results you do.
Kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to be here, to give anyone who's viewing this video a little bit of an insight into what is behind a BSB team, rather than just the glamour of being on the grid with a brolly girl and, you know, being in pole position. the work and the time and the commitment and the energy that goes into that to achieve that is huge, isn't it? I appreciate that, I understand that, and I know you do, of course. But these guys, you know, you've got a great team of guys with you that are all committed to that as well, that are all making that happen.
The track side of it, literally, and I'm not underselling it, is probably 5 or 10% of what goes on.
Yeah.
And it's mega when you're there, and you're stood on the grid, and you're thinking, right, we're going, we're going racing. We just built another bike, and But no, I mean, you know, you ride every lap with them, especially, you know, when you have ridden yourself. You know, you know how they're feeling, you know how they're feeling on the grid, whatever. But it's like, you know, it's 5 or 10% of what goes on in here, and it's just countless hours in the workshop, countless hours, you know, prepping and checking, and because those things that where they're trying to find not shortcuts, but quicker ways of
more efficiencies, marginal gains,
but also quicker ways of swapping stuff. So they crashed in the start of the session. You know, all the sub assemblies have got to be built, all the cables have got to be ready, everything's got to be labelled, everything's got to be in the right place. You've got to be able to, you know, go to it in seconds. I mean, I think the first time that Nigel really realised, and with the greatest respect to him, how good the lads were that we'd sort of assembled was, I remember Billy dropping a valve at Alton Park in the warm-up, and it was because obviously it's the later start, and then straight into the race, and I think in under an hour they dropped our hot motor, put a new motor in, and we got out down pit lane with I think 7 seconds to spare. And that bike never had a leak, never had a problem, never had an issue.
Testimony to the team, huge. Yeah.
And the boys were silent and calm, and about the only one that was flapping was Nigel, so we had to give him a job of looking at time and keeping him out of the garage.
Shouting out at the time, counting you down.
Yeah. But that's when you realise how good they are, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Pandemic. It's just what you need when you're running a race team. It's been a difficult year for everybody globally, you know, we all know that. But crowds are coming back to BSB, limited in number at the moment, but hopefully with the way things are shaping up, we'll be able to see full crowds back. What does that mean to BSB? What does that mean to you? How does it feel to ride behind closed doors compared to having crowds around?
It's you know, it's terrible, you know, not having the crowds there. It's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, it's the atmosphere, and you know, I remember my biggest memory that I'll probably ever carry from riding at BSB events was, you know, Sunday morning warm up on the Ducatis. We used to get thrown out first, clean the track up, and you go down the start, finish straight at Cadwell to 60, 70, 80,000 people. And it's exactly. Oh, look at that fat guy running down there. But no, I mean, the atmosphere is electric. Don't get me wrong, we always try and give our sort of fans and followers the best experience possible. We're a friendly team, you know, we've always got time for, you know, fans and people there, and it's really, really weird. Just, you know, to walk out the back of the garage and you haven't got 10, 20 people waiting to see the riders, and you know, and it's just it's kind of empty, really, you know, a feeling, empty feeling. But I think, you know, the hopefully the crowds will be back soon. You know, we've all got to think of the safety element. We've all got to, you know, try and keep the ball rolling. You know, and from BSB's point of view, you know, they financed the last probably 6 to 8 events at a loss. You know, and we have to remember that, you know, so they've, you know, gone over and above what they probably need to do
keep the event going.
Yeah, it'd been easier to shut the series down and start again. But I genuinely think, you know, we get the crowds back and get back to some normality. I think we all need it. You know, we've all...
race fans have been starved of racing. I mean, I can see it on the TV, and you know, it is good to follow the series on TV. But those guys that trek up and down the country and stand in rain or shine and support the teams, and that's the heartbeat of the sport, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, at the end of the day, look, without getting into the politics of it all 100%, you couldn't go to a safer place to go and watch the sport that you're passionate about. 150 acres of outside space, well-run events, and it just isn't the same without you know, you open the garage door in the morning and you look at an empty bank, or you open the garage in the morning and there's 10,000 eyes staring at you, and you're like, oh wow, this you know.
Brilliant. Listen, have a great season. Wishing you guys all the very best. We support a lot of BSB teams. We're heavily involved, but I think we've got a soft spot for you guys. And, you know, you deserve all the credit you get and all the wins that are coming your way.
Fingers crossed, and thanks for coming and visiting us. And you know, I hope you've enjoyed having a look around the workshop.
So that was a behind-the-scenes look at FS-3 Kawasaki. I'm Colin at Performance Parts. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and leave your comments below. Thank you for watching.